Welcome. It's time for the Smackdown review here on Wrestling with Regret. It's the first Smackdown after Money in the Bank where a lot of wild shit happens. So how will the blue brand fare in this brave new world as Otis is your new Mr. Money in the Bank? He is part of the opening segment here. We have Miz TV with Miz and John Morrison. Otis is the guest. He humps his briefcase on the way to the ring, does some Chris Farley shtick as Miz kind of grills him a bit. He says even though he won the briefcase, his biggest victory was winning the heart of his peach, Mandy Rose. Miz and Morrison make a lot of fun of like Otis's picture. They pull up some pictures on the screen of Otis as like a baby, as a youngster and stuff, pretending to be a wrestler and everything. And my whole, I couldn't help but think about this. Wasn't there a major part of Otis's character last year where like if you made fun of him, he would just go into a violent rage and beat up everybody? I remember that happening and being a thing, but either his character has grown a lot since then or they just forgot about that character trait because Otis kind of took it all in stride. He was very unperturbed by what the Miz and Morrison were shouting at him, and so I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway, the Miz gets frustrated that Otis is so nonplussed by all this, and he wants a tag team match with he and Tucker, but Otis goes, oh, well, Tucker is actually sick with dysentery on the Oregon Trail, which that was a pretty funny line. And so then Miz says you got to find a partner for later in the night. So who will Otis pick as his partner? Time will tell. Opening match is the first in the Intercontinental Championship tournament as Elias takes on King Corbin. Now, in case you didn't hear the news last week, they announced that Sami Zayn no longer the IC champ. They took the belt off him, and this tournament will crown a new champion. I feel bad for Sami here. I felt the company kind of did him dirty by taking the belt from him like that. It just seems hypocritical to me because the company has publicly said if a wrestler doesn't feel comfortable working, they don't have to work. And Sami goes, great, I don't want to work. And they go, great, we'll take the belt off you. It just feels like they're kind of petty, like they're punishing him for taking that time for his health and taking time off wrestling. On the other hand, if you look at all the championship scene right now across the three brands, with the exception of the ones who live overseas, like Pete Dunne and Jordan Devlin, and Gronk, I guess, like all the other champions across all the major brands are represented. They're on television, except for Sami Zayn, except for the IC title. So I can get why the company might want to have the championship on TV, or just have it kind of readily available at all times. So I get it from that perspective, but it does seem a bit too petty and too hypocritical that Sami, who takes this time off because the company says he can, they just take the belt off him anyway. I don't know if there was a better solution other than just keep the belt on him and don't acknowledge it. I mean, God, Lord knows, Brock Lesnar, when he was the champion, he certainly showed up a lot less frequently than Sami Zayn has. So anyway, this matchup here with Elias and Corbin is part of the feud that will never die. These guys have been warned for months across Raw and SmackDown. Elias has had a face and a heel turn since their feud began. And you've got, a couple months ago in the build to WrestleMania, Corbin threw Elias off the crow's nest. And then just this past Sunday on Money in the Bank, Elias hit Corbin with a guitar to cost him the briefcase. So there's a lot of build to this match, I will say that. And this was actually a good match. Lots of back and forth here. Though I hate how every lengthy Baron Corbin match, we always get two instances of the baseball slide out and around the corner, and the second one's always cut off. At this point, don't you think the wrestlers would know just to cut off the first time? The match ends when Corbin grabs Elias's guitar and smashes it to bits over the ring post, and Elias is just irate for this. He hits Corbin with the knee and the small package to win. The King's ultimate weakness, the roll-up. Man, makes you really want to watch Raw on Monday when Corbin makes that big jump to Raw for the night to fight Drew McIntyre in a match that he definitely has a chance of winning. Boy, sign me up for that one. Naomi taking on Dana Brooke in a rematch from a few weeks ago. Of course, Dana beat Naomi to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. So here we have this rematch, and it goes less than 2 minutes. I was looking away from my computer for 10 seconds, and before I knew it, the match was over. Dana counters a roll-up and just sits on her to pin and win. So in quick fashion, Dana's got Naomi's number. I was very surprised by that. Maybe this means they're trying to push Dana here after they didn't make her look that good in the Money in the Bank match. I feel like they made her look kind of like a dum-dum a couple times. So maybe this is kind of their make good for that. Here, well, at least have her win matches in the ring. But yeah, maybe this will lead to something more with Dana. Time will tell. I was for a split second, oh my God, are they going to turn Naomi heel? She looked so frustrated. So we'll see where that goes as well. But yeah, kind of a surprise here in this match. We get this very sappy, like, hype package slash tribute package for Becky Lynch, and they show how on Monday she announced her pregnancy and relinquished the title to Asuka. The way they built that whole package, it felt like, guys, she's pregnant, not dead. Then we see the NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair making her way to the ring as part of the brand-to-brand invitational, which they mentioned on commentary is only going to be happening 4 times a year. That sounds like a very easy rule to break. By if we saw how flagrantly they violated the rules, their own wild card rule, then I think they can definitely go more than 4 in a year with this one. They didn't specify if it's like 4 per brand or just 4 per year total. And if it's 4 per year total, then by next week, after Baron Corbin wrestles on Raw, they'll have already used half their opportunities. So maybe it is just 4 per brand. But anyway, Charlotte's there, and also, by the way, I noticed the sparkles across the screen for the first time. Like, you know, the 3D images you'll see superimposed. Charlotte's is just like sparkles. I hadn't noticed that until on this night. And in her promo, she talks about how Fox wants more Charlotte Flair, and so she says that there should be a big old picture of her on the side of the building anyway. Out come Bayley and Sasha Banks, and Bayley trying to drop some bombs on Charlotte here, talking about the last time they faced off in the ring, Bayley beat her for the Smackdown Women's Championship, which she still currently holds. So then Charlotte tries to stir the pot between Bayley and Sasha, planting those seeds and kind of building up Sasha, going, you and I, we main evented, we did all this history together, you're this multiple-time champion, so what are you doing being Bayley's lackey? And once again, Bayley speaking on behalf of Sasha, and Sasha some very uncomfortable, perturbed body language we see there, more so than what we saw on Sunday. Bayley challenges Charlotte to a match for next week. Charlotte accepts, so that's 2 brand-to-brand invitational things. Are they going to just lump the 2 together, or did this first one not count, or is the next one not going to count? Like, again, they're running a real serious risk of going well over those 4 a year, no matter how they're going to slice the 4 a year. But anyway, next week we're going to have that match, champion versus champion, planting the seeds. I just can't Charlotte just spend a little bit of time at NXT. The Forgotten Sons cut a promo, and you know shit's about to get real when we see a full screen that says viewer discretion is advised. Jackson Riker is the only one who speaks in this one, saying that believing in patriotism and freedom is bullshit. They talk about how the 3 of them served their country, and when they came back, they were not welcomed with open arms by their fellow countrymen, and so they're going to respond with closed fists. There are many interesting ways they can take this storyline here on the main roster. Maybe ripping some pages from the headlines. I'm just saying the possibility of the Forgotten Sons packing heat at a Subway sandwich establishment is not off the table just yet, I would imagine. But so far, I care a lot more about the Forgotten Sons, and I'm far more interested in what they have to say and do in the 3 or 4 weeks they've been on SmackDown, it feels like, than the years they were on NXT together. So maybe this emphasis and this little slight tweaking their edge and everything, maybe it's working. So throughout the night, we see these little backstage snippets of Otis trying to find a tag team partner for the main event. He goes to Sheamus, who laughs in his face and says no. Mandy Rose suggests that he go ask Braun Strowman, so he does, and Strowman says he'll think about it, and we go back to see Strowman going, still thinking about it. Then we see Renee Young here backstage with Miz and Morrison, who say Braun has to be the stupidest man alive to be Otis's partner because he's clearly walking into a cash-in trap. Either way, though, they're not going to beat the best tag team of the 21st century. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Miz and Morrison. And that's where that promo leaves off. Your next match in the IC title tournament sees Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. Mentor versus coach, 2 technical wizards grappling it out here. This was the match of the night. I'd say the match of the week. I'd say it's like dead heat between that match and the Riddle-Thatcher match we saw on Wednesday. Both of these, what they have in common is just how proficient all 4 guys are in their technical abilities. And just what we see with Daniel and Gulak here is just so crisp and so good. It's face versus face. No one's doing any heel stuff. It's just, because they have that friendship and everything. In the end, though, after a couple of sick-looking dragon screws, Daniel makes Gulak tap out with the heel hook and goes on to advance the tournament. A nice little post-match promo with Daniel where he says, 5 years ago, almost the day, I had to relinquish the championship. I've never had a chance to get it back, and here I want the title to represent the best in wrestling, and I think it's me. So yeah, great opening salvo here by Bryan in this tournament. This match was great. You hate to see both these guys, you hate to see either of these guys get eliminated in the tournament, but one of them has to advance. I'm curious to see how far Bryan will go. They advertise a bunch of matches for next week, including a mixed tag match between Otis and Mandy Rose and Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville. We then go to see a Sonya promo backstage, and Dolph is there but says absolutely nothing. Sonya asks Mandy, what are you actually good at? Because you're not good at wrestling, you're not good at fighting, you're not good at being a best friend, you're just good at being blonde and pretty, and she's going to show how much better she is than Mandy, and she tells her to better bring it. bitch. Why does every heel female in this company have to end their promo with the old reliable, oh, the B word? Also, one thing I noticed here was that on this night you had 2 instances of wrestlers bringing up the blonde hair thing. Because earlier in Charlotte's promo, she says, well, I'm 5'10", I'm blonde, I'm this and that. So she's putting over the fact that she's blonde as a positive attribute. And then we see Sonya Deville say, oh, well, Mandy Rose, you're just good at being blonde. And other than that, you know, there's nothing else to you there. So it's kind of used in a derogatory fashion. I don't know who's writing the show this week, but maybe they're working out some stuff with a blonde lady in their life. Main event time as The Miz and John Morrison take on Otis and a mystery partner. Now, when they were first showing the struggle that Otis had in finding a tag team partner, I couldn't help but notice the lower third graphic that was advertising it put Otis in second billing below the mystery silhouette, which said to me, well, it's probably going to be a bigger star than him. And of course, they were teasing Braun Strowman all night. Is he going to show up? Is he going to be there? Yeah, okay, so much for the suspense there. Strowman shows up as his tag team partner. Otis resumes humping his briefcase. By the way, I shall now call this tag team Strowtis. Early in the match, Strowman and Otis hit a double caterpillar. I mean, Strowman's caterpillar was like, when you compare the two side by side, it's like 8-bit in Strowman versus like 64-bit with Otis. Like there's a clear graphical difference in how much they can actually move around and how much articulation they have when they're doing the motion. Strowman's needed some work. By the way, I don't think we heard one peep in this whole show, except maybe for one time, about how Strowman beat Bray Wyatt on Sunday at the pay-per-view. Like, I'm surprised we got no inkling of Bray on this week's show. The match itself was okay. Otis gets a hot tag after hitting a double suplex on both his opponents. Strowman cleans house. The sight of Morrison fleeing from Strowman on the outside as he's doing his runaround tackles was pretty hilarious. Strowman catches Morrison into a running power slam to win the match for his team, and then afterward, Mandy Rose appears to celebrate with Otis. But as she's making her way down, Strowman looks at her, and we get this thing where Otis might be going for a sneak attack, but Strowman catches him, and he's, oh, I'm just joking, and they do the fist bump and everything. The three of them celebrate in the ring, and that's where we leave it. So yeah, I mean, what are Otis's intentions? I can't imagine like Otis in this incarnation or any incarnation as a heel right now. I mean, he's not a heel on Braun Strowman, is he? Like, you know, it was good to get Otis over in this way and have him like show he still looks good and everything. But yeah, I'm just curious of where Otis is going to shake down. Because again, I still don't think he's going to be cashing this thing in properly. My grade for this week's SmackDown is a B. Pretty decent post-pay-per-view showing here for SmackDown. I thought there was a lot of variety in the matches in terms of length and quality. I like that they gave a lot of love to Otis as the new Money in the Bank winner. They didn't make him look like a joke. They made him look like kind of on equal footing almost with the champion Braun Strowman. I like the opening, the first matches in the IC title tournament. As much as I hate to see Sami stripped of the belt, these first 2 matches to me are a good indication of what the kind of quality we'll see as the tournament goes on. So that's a plus. Yeah, my one real nitpick with this show was no Bray Wyatt of any kind, no real mention, and certainly no appearances by him. But obviously you don't want to like milk that thing dry, and I think I keep kind of going back and forth on it. Otis getting that exposure probably wouldn't happen if they focus so much on Bray Wyatt this week. So give the Bray thing a little bit of a break, and then maybe next week they go to it, so we'll see. But let me know what you thought about SmackDown this week in the comments section below, and be sure to give a letter grade by going into the iCard in the corner of your screen. It's a bit bittersweet that I gestured to this thing because I was just told today that like next month they're phasing that whole thing out. No more iCards, no more polls at least in the iCard. So fan votes won't be happening in the iCard anymore. They say go to the comments for that. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do, is parse through hundreds of comments that vote on a particular thing. That's going to be real fun. But anyway, folks, I'm Bryan Zayn, and I'll see you next time.